show we did in 1987, if I'm not mistaken, and it was in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Omni Civic Center or Theater, something like I forgot what it's called. On that show was the Platters, uh, Ray Charles, and this story is basically. And who else? I forgot. It could have been. It could have been Benny King or the Coast. It was two other acts besides us. And this is one of the rare times when we're doing a show with other acts and we're not the headliners. It only happened one other time when I was in the group. And that's around 86. And we did a show with the Ohio, and this was a crazy show, with the Ohio Players and Harold Melman and the Blue Notes in Washington, D.C. at the Hilton Hotel on New Year's Eve. And I got some pictures around here. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk about that one on my next video because that was interesting, very, very, very interesting. So I want to share those stories about that. But right now, we're going to talk about the '87 show with Ray Charles, and I want to specifically talk about that show with Ray Charles because now we're dealing with an artist who I'm very familiar with. Out of all of the artists that we had worked with up to that point, and I was a big fan of. So I was, how can I say? I was sort of starstruck. Sorry about that. Let me drink some tea here. Sort of starstruck and proud at the same time that I was going to be on a stage, sharing a stage. Well, not sharing. Oh, yeah, sharing because he do his show, then we do our show with Ray Charles. So, like a lot of those places, they fly us out the day before. We stay in the hotel. The next day, we go to the venue and do a sound check, then go back to the hotel, and then come back, do the show. Then the next night, the next morning, we leave and go to the next event or go back home, however that was going to be. That was another sold out show. And that's another thing. I would say I joined the group in '82. I would say by '85, this whole rock and roll revival thing started taking off. So it was a revival of the 50s and early 60s music. So there was a lot of bookings. I mean, boy, did we tour. I was told I was told by the other members of the group that I was lucky to join the group, and I did because they did not work as much in the '70s as we were doing in the '80s because of that whole thing. I mean, Jesus, we were everywhere. Went to Vienna, Austria. We went to Singapore, Japan, Jesus, the Caribbean. I can't remember how many countries and places that we've been. And the crazy part about all those places we went, they was all sold out. And the Platters hadn't had a hit record since the 50s or the late 60s with a minor hit with Sonny Turner, but not with Tony Williams. And here we are selling out all these venues. And it was incredible for me. So this particular show, this particular concert, we are actually actually Ray Charles was the headliner. and the other two acts opened up. I think it was Del Vikings probably opened up, and then Benny King came on, and then Reed, the Platters, and then Ray Charles. Um, what was the Omni Center? It hold what, about 15, 20,000 people and sold out. So like I said, Ray Charles was a headliner, and we would act just before the headliner. So backstage, this is a great story. So backstage, we all got our own dressing room. Now, of course, we know Ray Charles is blind, but for some reason, he likes to keep his dressing room door open, and he's sitting at his makeup desk table, but it's right in front of the door. So you can, if you walk by the door and you look in, you can see Ray sitting with his back to you. I don't even know why he's looking in the mirror. What the fuck? He got sunglasses on. Well, it's in the mirror. The mirror is there. So I'm not. He ain't looking in the mirror. But anyway, get back to the story. So we going first, but we had met earlier that at the sound check. The groups that were there during the sound check, they all sort of, and these guys are older, and some of them know each other from back in the day. And, of course, Ray Charles and Tony Williams would know each other because they were the biggest thing that there were, two of the biggest black male singers at the time. So they would greet each other with pleasantry. And Tony introduced his new group. Ray, this is my new Platters, and these are the guys in the group and stuff. So I didn't really talk to him enough like that. But that night, when it was time for the show, and I remember this vividly because this was a memory that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. Like I said, Ray Charles kept his dressing room door open. So I was walking by, going to the stage, because it was almost our time, and he going to follow us. So when I walked by, and I just saw him sitting there, it was my opportunity to speak to Ray Charles. So I looked in, I said, "Hello, Mr. Charles. This is Teddy Fame. I'm with Tony's group. I'm the new singer in Tony's group." He said, "Yeah, I know who you are, boy. I know who you are, young man." What he said? "Yeah, I know who you are, young man. Go on out there and do your thing. I'll be listening." Ray Charles said that to me. Man, let me tell you something. That inspired me so well that Ray Charles was going to be listening to me sing, because you can hear from the dressing room, you can hear the stage, and he's going to be hearing me. So I said, "Wow, Ray Charles is going to hear me sing," and that was so exciting. Well, it was a pretty good show. We did all the hits. He came out, tore the house down, and this is great because it was like one of those behind the scenes backstage movie story where I'm at the back, I'm at the wing of the stage after our show. I want to see Ray Charles, and because I'm one of the artists, I don't have to go to audience. I can stand on the side of the stage and watch him perform. I stood there whole show and watched almost his whole show. I don't think I went back here. I think I went back and changed out of my tux, because we wear tux. So I went back to the dressing room, changed out of my tux, and the rest of the group went back to the hotel. Well, I said, "No, I'm going to stay because I want to watch Ray Charles." Because once our show's over, we go back to the hotel unless there's some reason we have to stay. And normally we're the headliners, so there's no other act after us. So after we perform, and that's the end of the show. But this particular time, we were the act before the headliner. So Ray Charles the headliner. So I wanted to see his whole show. So I stayed and watched Ray Charles sing all those songs and play, and it was freaking amazing. Totally amazing. Left me overexcited, spellbound, thankful.